A quick watch, a day in the life movie with a small runtime but a big message. I just rewatched Fruitvale Station and I want to talk about it. The plot of Fruitvale Station is simple but undeniably impactful. It's a dramatization of the last 24 hours of Oscar Grant's life. Grant, a 22-year-old black man, was killed by Bay Area Rapid Transit Police at an Oakland train station on New Year's Day 2009. The film follows a typical day where he's trying to rebuild a relationship with his girlfriend, caring for his daughter, attempting to gain stability after past mistakes, and celebrating his mother's birthday. It's not sensationalized or over-manipulated. It's an authentic telling of the moments leading to the tragic shooting that ignited conversations about race, policing, and systematic injustice. Michael B. Jordan brings a well-rounded approach to his performance portraying Oscar Grant. He's not sanctified in his approach. The balance is expertly delivered. Oscar Grant is shown as a person who experiences love and hope, but is also imperfect in moments where he is quick to anger. He shows great love and kindness for those around him, sometimes even perfect strangers, but his environment and past experiences can push negative reactions to the forefront when he is threatened, and I think that's something we can all relate to. Melanie Diaz plays Sofina, Oscar's girlfriend, and you can already tell that these two have been through so much together at such a young age. They have a child together. Oscar has served time, and now he's back and attempting to turn things around. Sofina is tender and is trying her best to keep Oscar in her life, but she's not standing idly by or putting up with any actions that might put the family in jeopardy or to end up without Oscar in their life again. Her scenes in the hospital after the shooting are especially harrowing. Octavia Spencer delivers another noteworthy performance as Oscar's mom, Wanda. She's the anchor of the family. She's stern and resilient, but loves unconditionally. Again, another performance that takes off in the hospital scene. Also, when she visits Oscar in jail during a flashback, she too is a guiding force for Oscar in his life. This is an unbelievable debut effort from Ryan Coogler, who of course saw great success with the Black Panther series and the first Creed, and another major hit this year with Sinners. He's a frequent collaborator with Michael B. Jordan, and this is the genesis of all of that. Rachel Morrison is the cinematographer who also worked with Coogler on Black Panther. Approached this film with a more realistic approach over the cinematic approach of later works. The use of handheld cameras and close-ups bring us directly into the world. There's a documentary feel to this that draws you into Oscar's world. Instead of feeling like we're watching from a distance, we're there. The color palette here is muted, much like our daily lives. We have expanses of roads, stores, the train stations, apartment buildings. It's not a Hollywood glassy look. And that lends to the realism and makes the final tragedy much more jarring. We're not seeing a made-up story here. This is life that people are living. The timing and pacing of this film is perfect to me. It feels like a typical day, one we might experience until we get to those scenes in the train station. Oscar starts his day with his family. He runs some errands, celebrates a birthday, and ultimately meets up with his friends to celebrate New Year's. It's a slice of life and moves like a normal day until the tragic turn. The building of tension is next level. I've seen this movie before, but even as the tension was ratcheting up, I felt my heart rate going up. We are introduced to Oscar and Sofina in a fight about him potentially cheating. We find out that Oscar has lost his job and he's not getting it back. His sister reaches out. She needs help for rent while he is having trouble funding his own life in the moment. It just builds and builds like a pressure cooker. All of the crowd and train shots are claustrophobic. It's dimly lit and crowded. It helps sell the danger and the chaos and the confusion of the moments leading up to the shooting. Even as a movie, it feels volatile and electric. And I couldn't imagine being there in real life, even though the movie does open with cell phone footage from that night, and that also really sets the tone. The writing is masterful. This was also written by Coogler. Nothing is wasted, and you can really tell when a writer is cemented in time and place. Coogler is from the Bay Area, and it shows through the vernacular and the conversations. Sounds so specific to the place, and that adds another level of authenticity to the film. To me, this frame where the police show up on the station platform is the one that encapsulates the film. The sense of dread and tension are immediate. And it's not just because we know how the film is going to end because we were shown it in the beginning with the cell phone footage. I think it's ultimately because we know how this situation might end based on past experiences we've seen throughout our lives. From this point on in the film, you watch the horror play out, and that's the deal. I know I personally have no cultural context in my life to relate to this feeling, but I think it's so important to watch and to attempt to connect why there's animosity and distrust of police among minority groups. Systems and positions who are supposed to be trusted and protecting have in situations done detrimental harm and have not been held accountable. That frame is, of course, central to one of the main themes of systemic racism and policing. It's not a lecture in this movie, but it's not hidden either. Yes, Oscar and his friends did get in a fight on the train that night, but institutional issues and dehumanization led to a death that was not warranted. Shop owners seem cautious of Oscar, and police jump to conclusions. This is just one day we're seeing, but Oscar and his friends have had to deal with this burden their whole lives. The fragility of life is also explored. We see the full day, and in each one of our lives, the situation can change in an instant. Each day might be our last. With that, we also see how many people each of our lives touch. Oscar was an anchor for his family. Sofina and their daughter Tatiana rely on him day to day. His mother worries about him. His sister leans on him. His group of friends care about him deeply. Each life impacts so many, and thus so does a great tragedy. Cell phones are a big symbol in this movie. They represent connection, no doubt, but something more in the way Oscar's death was captured. It's been a topic for a while now, but sometimes people will witness great injustice and not stop it. The camera rolls, but at least that tendency to record has helped push the conversation on policing in our country. The timing is crazy because New Year's Day works as a symbol for Oscar's attempts to make positive steps toward a better future. The resolution of New Year's and Oscar's rebirth could have been perfectly in sync. He was making his way down that path. I caught so much more foreshadowing in this watch. Various shots of the train in the background during the day, the dog who is brutally killed and no one steps in to help besides Oscar, Tatiana watching the bottle rockets and they sound like gunshots, Oscar's nephew and him play fighting and the nephew has Oscar in a headlock. It's all pointing to the inevitable end of this film. These are some pretty straightforward themes and symbols that unfortunately we've become all too accustomed to, but if I missed anything that resonates with you, please let us know in the comments. The shooting is pivotal. Sofina is trapped outside of the station and she can't get back to Oscar. No one knows for sure what is happening, but they start to realize that it's likely that the worst has happened. It's the collapse of everything, but I think the pivotal moments continue into the hospital. So many people gather to support Oscar, and when he doesn't survive, those lives are shattered. The final frame of this movie is such a gut punch. Sofina and Tatiana are in the shower, and Tatiana asks where her dad is, when he's coming back. Sofina can't answer, and there's a moment where Tatiana breaks eye contact, looks away, looks down, and she knows her dad is not coming back. The family is forever altered, and it's painful to watch. I think some people might walk away after watching this film feeling a bit helpless themselves. There's no proposed solution, and maybe that can be hard to sit with. I think awareness is the point, though, especially if you're from a community who does not live with systematic prejudices and oppression. Open your eyes to a world that others experience. It can make you more empathetic and willing to make a difference where you can in your community. This movie is emotionally resonant, but it's also socially vital. I give it 4 spools. I think it would do everybody good to watch this film. It takes a story that you may have paid attention to for 5 minutes when it was in the news headlines and makes you sit with and commune with the real lives impacted. The performances are wonderful. The naturalistic look is perfect. And for a directorial debut, it doesn't get much better. That wraps it up for Fruitvale Station. Thank you so much for being here. If you want to check out the Patreon, I have it set for $3 for everything. Member shoutouts, early access, help me pick movies, ad-free content if we get to that point. But if not, I appreciate you being here regardless. Like, subscribe if you want to hang out again, and we'll catch you in the next one.